In this video, I travel from Reunion Island to Mauritius. It is a mere 30-minute flight in a jumbo jet, which is great. I don't think I've ever enjoyed a short flight as much as this one. Another great part of this flight was that half the flight was on their way to a wedding. And here's the married couple now.
Landing grids.
Here's what immigration looks like when you are standing behind the wedding party. A 1-hour drive later, and I was at my destination, Flic en Flac. I'm now on Mauritius Island. Absolutely beautiful. I'm enjoying a bit of some relaxation. You know, a lot of people think that full-time travel is a full-time vacation. It is not. So I'm enjoying just taking a breather and relaxing for a day, not planning anything, just doing whatever my heart calls me to do. One of the huge differences between beaches in Mauritius and beaches on Reunion is how in Mauritius the water is so calm. I'm someone that doesn't love rough ocean water. This was just like inviting me in, and the color of the water was extraordinary. I will say that the Flic en Flac beach was wonderful during the morning, but once the afternoon came, there were lots of people on the beach. This guy has the best roti you'll eat in Mauritius. Make sure to stop here if you come to Flic en Flac. The center of Flic en Flac is very small. There is a post office. I mailed some postcards and people did receive them fairly quickly. This seafood curry was inexpensive and one of the best meals I ate while in Mauritius. Here's an idea of how much more crowded the beach gets at sunset in Flic en Flac. One of my favorite activities during this trip was a visit to an eco island where we got a tour and got to be on this gorgeous water again.
Afterwards, when level of the sea dropped down, the island appeared. So we're talking of millions of years, and then vegetation appeared as well as animals. So when I'm talking of animals, it's like lizards and birds, mostly. There were some elements on the island that disappeared, we're putting them back. And conservation means some elements are nearly to get disappeared, so we're trying to prevent this, okay? Mostly we have endemic plants and animals. On the island, about 70 of them, the olive white eye. So why we call it the olive white eye? Because of the white circle around the eye. It's the smallest bird in Mauritius, like my thumb. The chick is smaller than my thumb, okay? So the tortoises are the giant Aldabra tortoises. Like I told you, Aldabra is an island from Seychelles. So they're here to propagate the plants. So you can see they're eating scavola leaves. These leaves are rich in water and fats. They're about 10 years old. And you can see they have identities on their shell. This is to identify them individually. Every sculpture, bronze sculpture that you see are animals that were living in Mauritian forest but got disappeared. With the... Want to feed, madam? It's a female. She's always shy. But other ones, when I cannot tell you, but females are more or less 100 kilos, 80 kilos.
So if you wanted to check if it's a male or female.
we have a plant, what we call in French bois de rat. Rat means rat. In fact, this plant, when it flowers and the flowers fall down, it gives a smell of a dead rat. So the French gave the name bois de rat, like rat wood. When people, especially from France, they have to go from Mauritius to Europe, they take 4 to 6 months to go on their ships at that time. But they carried the tortoises on their ships to have fresh meat. So that's why it got disappeared. They ate all of them. Biologists, they grow the plants. Mauritian gecko, the Phelsuma ornata.
I'm doing an amazing eco walk, learning about the flora and fauna on this refuge here. It's an island that we went to where there are protected species and nature. Really fascinating.
This is the skink. Come closer, you'll see the skink.
So no petting it?
No petting, it
Okay.
bites. Just to know, it depends where the female is found during copulate mating period. If it's on his left, he'll use left penis. If on his right, he'll right penis.
I thought he'd just be confused with two brains. I'm here with Christophe of the Mauritius Wildlife Foundation. He just gave us a fabulous tour, so I thought I'd let him say a few words about the organization. Over to you.
Thank you. So the Mauritian Wildlife Foundation protects endemic species in Mauritius, plants and animals. So since 1985, we took part of Egret Island to make a project of restoration and conservation. And afterwards, you have many spots like Round Island, North of Mauritius, even Pigeon Wood in Black River, where you have 600 pink pigeons only found in the world, only in Mauritius. So we're here to protect endemic species, and I hope you do as well in your country.
Thank you. It was a great visit. Thank you so much.
If I have to go next, I have to do a...
This is a fish market, and though I'm not sure I would want to eat the fish with the flies on it, they were beautiful to look at, and certainly some varieties that I'm not familiar with. I got to try a delicious biryani at this restaurant.
Meat for me.
Meat.
There were a fair number of shopping malls around Mauritius, which surprised me. Nothing terribly exciting, but if you're looking for some Dodo souvenirs, this may be the place to go. This is a market in Quatre Bornes. I got a sweater here for $1.50 and a scarf for about $3. I explored the local food market in Quatre Bornes as well, and always enjoy seeing what kind of produce there is and prices and fruits and vegetables that I don't recognize. I've come out to the beach here in Flic and Flac early in the morning when I know that there are not many people here, and it's perfect. Just a handful of people, some walking on the beach, some hanging out with their friends, and I get to just relax. It's ironic because I came to Mauritius for the first time in 2005 with my then husband on our honeymoon. So I wasn't sure how I'd feel being here, and actually the irony is I feel really chill. It's an unexpected haven in between trips. So I forget sometimes, because I have the joy of being able to be in so many different places, I forget sometimes I just need to stop and chill and feel the sand and let whatever thoughts I have just percolate in my head and come to the surface. And in fact, so luckily, because I have seen a lot of the main tourist sites in the past, I released myself from all of the pressure to do lots and lots of sightseeing. I have the awesome tour I took the other day, and that's it. So I'm really rooting myself in this period of relaxation before I head off to South Africa, and even just a few days has been perfect. I'm now in the city of Port Louis, which is the capital of Mauritius. I came to Port Louis hoping to experience many of its museums and heritage sites. Unfortunately, I found that many of them were closed, but I did enjoy walking around and seeing what I could see before the rain started. I was slightly amused at the buses in Mauritius. They all seem to be old school buses from other countries. Since I've always thought of Mauritius as a honeymoon destination with 5-star resorts, I was really intrigued at how so much of it actually felt a little bit like South America and very colorful and a bit like the Caribbean and very laid back, something I wasn't expecting. I do not like seeing McDonald's when I travel to foreign countries. If you plan on doing any tours while you are in Mauritius and you're staying in Flic, you'll see these signs everywhere. It's very easy to book a last-minute trip. They are not cheap, though. If you have breakfast outside in Mauritius, at least at this restaurant, watch out for the birds. Looks like they've been trained to get treats from passerby. My last day in Mauritius this trip, absolutely beautiful. I've really loved my time here, and what a way to be able to say goodbye on this lovely, lovely day. Wow. If you stay in or visit Flic, make sure to check out this little Dodo park. There's not much to it, and it may or may not be open when you go, but it was worth a little gander. Hopefully you can see the rainbow behind me. I love rainbows. A few things to know about Mauritius. So I've only been here a few days, but it is my second time here. And you have your choice of chilling out on the beach or, of course, doing any of the numerous activities you can around the island. Renting a car here, I believe, is not so expensive as it is in, say, America or Europe. However, there is a fairly extensive bus network. Depending where you're staying and depending where you're going, you should be able to get there with a bus, except if it's very far, you're gonna have to change buses. And from Flic to Port-Louis, which is the capital, which isn't that far on the map, they just stop a lot, it's about an hour. And the same to Quatre Bornes, it was about an hour bus ride. So there are buses, but they take a long time. A note about the buses, they are very old. I guess I can't remember where they get their buses from, but you won't find like new first class kind of style buses. Reunion Island had really nice new buses. These are old and repainted, so kind of funny. Reminded me a little bit of buses in parts of Central and South America. There are a fair amount of stray dogs in Mauritius. From what I understand, they actually used to kill them. Then they instituted a sterilization program, and during the pandemic, that program unfortunately stopped and they haven't been able to revive it, so now there's more stray dogs. It's really hard because they look so friendly. I have given some of them a bite to eat, and then I've been followed, so they haven't been aggressive, but I don't know when they follow me if they want to be pet or if they're gonna get mad at me for not giving them more food. So it's not as good a feeling as I've had in some other places when I fed stray dogs. People are extremely friendly. I was warned I shouldn't talk to everyone, and it is true what I heard, that if you get into a conversation with anyone, they probably are going to want to do business with you. So it's just part of the culture. It's not meant to be rude. It's just how things progress. I have felt very safe here as a female solo traveler. I've been warned to watch my belongings, keep my purse shut, my phone away, things like that. I've been out with my phone. It's been okay. I did go to a market in Quatre Bornes, which was a closed market, and definitely the kind of place where you might be pickpocketed. I was not, so I guess be mindful of your belongings and aware that these things can happen, but hopefully they don't happen to you. Weather-wise, I am in Mauritius in their winter. It is July, end of July, and it is quite warm. So almost like Florida, but a little bit different. There's not the humidity, and when there are sunny days, it's just gorgeous, and the water is sparkling and blue-green, and you'll just want to jump in. And when it's raining like it is now, I definitely want a sweater on, but that's it. So it's pretty warm. If you rent a car, they drive on the wrong side of the road. Ha ha ha. They drive on the opposite side of the road than we do in America. The currency used in Mauritius is the rupee. So I've been changing currencies from the dollar to the euro to the rupee. It's been a little confusing, but generally speaking, prices here are pretty good. You can have a really nice meal for about $10 to $12. I've had if you come here, have the seafood curry. I don't like spicy. It's not spicy. It's just got a lot of taste to it. It's delicious, and apparently one of the main dishes that you will find on Mauritius. So check it out. I ate at a place called, I think it's La Bougainville. I'll try to remember to put the restaurant in the show notes here in Flic and Flac, and it was really, really good. I am here solo. I am not on my honeymoon this time. And I had a great time. The place I'm staying is known for more families, and it's not a romantic honeymooners kind of area. So I do recommend Flic and Flac if you are traveling solo. There are some parts of the island or the country I should say, that are really have those high-end resorts where you're probably going to find all the honeymooning couples. In terms of how long to stay, obviously if you're flying from America, it's quite a long ways. You usually have to, depending where you're flying from New York, you'd likely go through Paris. You're going to have like 24 hours of travel, and you're going to want to stay here at least a couple weeks to make that trip worthwhile. If you're willing to combine your time here with sightseeing and also days of doing nothing on the beach, the time will probably fly by. I have had people tell me that it is boring in Mauritius, and I have not found that. Of course, I really loved being here to have some chill out downtime, and the water is just so beautiful. And I'm really pleased to know that besides those big activities where you're paying 120, 150 euros, which is quite a lot of money, but probably have a great experience. And I didn't do there's a catamaran trip where you can go out to the Île aux Cerfs, which is supposed to be beautiful, and they give you lunch. I would do that next trip. But apart from that, the eco walk I did was one of my favorite activities here in probably the 2 times that I was here. So strongly recommend that. I really, really loved it. It was a very original activity and gave me a great sense of the nature and the fauna and the flora of the area. I definitely recommend coming to Mauritius, especially, by the way, Reunion Island is a literal 30-minute flight away, one of the shortest flights I've ever been on in such a large plane, which I love large planes. So it was a very comfortable ride, and as soon as we got to cruising altitude, we were basically on our descent. So great place to come. Great place to relax, lots to see and do, wonderful food to try. Hope you make it to Mauritius. Bye-bye, Mauritius. It was a great time. Thank you. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my videos on Reunion Island, another great island here in the Indian Ocean.